prapadye. Param pradhanam purusham mahantam alam kavim trivitam lokapalam atmanubhutya anugata prapancham swachanda saktim kapilam prapadye. Param pradhanam purusham mahantam alam kavim trivitam lokapalam atmanubhutya anugata prapancham swachanda saktim kapilam prapadye. Synonyms: Param, transcendental; Pradhanam, supreme; Purusham, person; Mahantam, who is the origin of the material world; Kalam, who is time; Kavim, fully cognizant; Trivitam, three modes of material nature; Lokapalam, who is the maintainer of all the universes; Atma, in himself; Anubhutya, by internal potency; Anugata, dissolved; Prapancham, whose material manifestations; Swachanda, independently; Saktim, who is powerful; Kapilam, to Lord Kapila; Prapadye, I surrender. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of the sum total of matter and the element of time, who is the fully cognizant maintainer of all the universes under the three modes of material nature, and who absorbs the material manifestation after their dissolution. Purport. The six opulences, wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation, are indicated here by Kardama Muni, who addresses Kapila Muni, his son, as Param. The word Param is used in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam in the phrase Param Satyam to refer to the Samambonam or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Param is explained further by the next word, Pradhanam, which means the chief, the origin, the source of everything. Sarvakarana Karanam, Brahma Samhita, 5th chapter, 1st verse, the cause of all causes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is not formless, is Purusham, or the enjoyer, the original person. He is the time element and is all cognizant. He knows everything, past, present, and future, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. The Lord says, I know everything, present, past, and future, in every corner of the universe. The material world, which is moving under the spell of the three modes of nature, is also a manifestation of His energy. Parasya Shakti Vividaiva Shruyate. Everything that we see is an interaction of His energies. From Shvetasvatara Upanishad 6.8. Parasya Brahmana Sakti Tathedam Akhilam Jagat. This is the version of the Vishnu Puran. We can understand that whatever we see is an interaction of the three modes of material nature, but actually it is all an interaction of the Lord's energy. Lokapalam, he is actually the maintainer of all living entities. Nitya Nityanam, he is the chief of all living entities. He is one, but he maintains many, many living entities. God maintains all other living entities, but no one can maintain God. That is his Swachanda Sakti. He is not dependent on others. Someone may call himself independent, but he is still dependent on someone higher. The personality of Godhead, however, is absolute. There is no one higher than or equal to him. Kapila Muni appeared as the son of Kadama Muni, but because Kapila is an incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kadama Muni offered respectful obeisances unto him with full surrender. Another word in this verse is very important. Atmanubhutya Anugata Prapancham. The Lord descends either as Kapila or Rama, Nrsimha or Varaha, and whatever forms he assumes in the material world are all manifestations of his own personal internal energy. They are never forms of the material energy. The ordinary living entities who are manifested in this material world have bodies created by the material energy. But when Krishna or any one of his expansions or parts of the expansions descends in this material world, although he appears to have a material body, his body is not material. He always has a transcendental body. But fools and rascals who are called mudhas consider him one of them, and therefore they deride him. They refuse to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they cannot understand him. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Avajananti ma mudha, those who are rascals and fools deride me. When God descends in a form, this does not mean that he assumes his form. This does not mean that he assumes his form with the help of the material energy. He manifests his spiritual form as he exists in his spiritual kingdom. Om Agnanatimindasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrupa Kadhamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jitapadakamam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Pariyana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam
Shri Radha
Shri Radha Krishna Pradhan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamsha
Dinabandhu
He
Jagat
Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate
Gopi
Gopesha Gopikakanta Radhakanto Namastute Saptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sutadevi Pranamami Hari Priye
Vancha Kalpatarubhya
Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhayo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah
Shri
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri
Shri
Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Rama
Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Gurgas Jai Guru Krishna. The words again. Param Pradhanam Purusham Mahantam Kalam Kamim Trivitam Lokapalan Atmanubhutya Anugata Prapancham Swachhanda Saktim Kapilam Prapadye. I surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead descended in the form of Kapila, who is independently powerful and transcendental, who is the Supreme Person and the Lord of the sum total of matter and the element of time, who is a fully cognizant maintainer of all the universes under the three modes of material nature and who absorbs the material manifestations after the dissolution. So we see in this wonderful chapter that Kardama Muni in this chapter starts preparing for renunciation. Before marriage itself, he had made a agreement that, okay, I will enter into Grahastha life. But the moment I, impregnate you and have children from you, after that, I will renounce. I will enter renounce order of life. So there are no Chaturvanyama Shrishtam, Gunakarma Vibhagasha. There are these 4 ashramas, right? And varnas. So the 4 ashramas are Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyas. So in the previous chapters, we heard that he had taken brahmachari, celibate life for certain years. There are 2 kinds of brahmachari. One is Naistika, who takes it for the entire life. One is Upanu Varta brahmachari, who takes it for a certain number of years. And then he gets married, but with that full focus, because he's a sage, full focus that now he will enter renounce order of life so that he can completely dedicate into the devotional service of the Supreme Lord. Right. So we see he instructs Devahuti in the beginning of the chapter that after this 9 daughters, you are now preparing to enter a renounce order. You are not happy, but I just want to let you know that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is going to take birth from your womb, right? And then we see the appearance of Lord Kapila from the womb of Devahuti, and the demigods, headed by Lord Brahma, glorifies Kardama, Devahuti, and Lord Kapila. And then Kardama Muni, empowered by Lord Brahma, also marries his 9 daughters. The 9 daughters and son-in-laws stay with him for some time, and then they go to their respective ashrama. Then, now in this section, we see Kardama Muni starts offering prayers to Lord Kapila, though Lord Kapila is born as a child, as his son, still he knows the identity of the Supreme Lord, and he starts offering prayers to his own son, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so means in these particular words, we see wonderful prayers offered that I surrender unto that Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is descended in your form, who is independently powerful, Swachanda, independently powerful and transcendental, Devya, right? Is a supreme person and the Lord of the sum total of matter. Here he is referred to as Lord of the sum total of matter, Mahantam. Like the Mahat Tattva comes from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We see when Mahasankarshan, Mul Sankarshan, the Mahasankarshan, when he expands as Karnodakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu, is lying in the causal ocean. The causal ocean is Mahatattva, where all the 24 elements, material elements are there. And who is a master of all these material elements? The Lord, the sum total of matter. He is the Lord of the sum total of matter, Mahantam. And Kavim, right? He's element of time, right? And Lokapalanam, is cognizant maintainer of all the universes, not only living entities in one particular country or one particular place, but maintainer of all living entities everywhere in all the universes. We hear about this 14 planetary system, right? In one universe, we see 14 planetary systems, seven nomens. We have Earth in the middle. We have higher planetary systems than the Earth, Bhuloka, and that it is called the Swarga Loka, and that which is below Earth is called Patala Loka. There are seven below Earth and then six above. In that way, there are 14 planetary systems, topmost being Brahmaloka. But in all those universes, all the living entities are maintained by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's why one name of the Lord is Lokapalanam. And then there's another name which Prabhupada points out, which is very significant in this verse. Atmanubhutya anugata prapancham. Right? Atmanubhutya. By his internal potency. Right? That all these incarnations are not product of his material nature. The material energy is also Lord's energy. Right? Lord has his energy is divided into three. The material energy or external energy, the marginal energy or Tadastha Sakti, right? And the internal energy, right? So when the Lord appears, it's a product of his internal energy, right? It's a product of his internal energy, not the external energy. He is the creator of the external energy also. Tivi Gunamai Bhavai, right? That the three modes of material nature are created by him. Mohitam jana. Everybody is bewildered by these three modes of material nature. But though the Lord has created it, the Lord is inexhaustible. He is not influenced by these three modes of material nature. So he is coming from his internal potency. And we see that all the incarnations of the Supreme Lord, by the agency of Shirodakshai Vishnu, they manifest. They manifest, right? And Anugata Prapancham, that after a certain time, all these material universes dissolve and take shelter where? They take shelter into the Supreme Lord, right? Who absorbs the material manifestation after their dissolutions, right? He absorbs all the material manifestations after their dissolution. So that's the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is Sarva Karana Karanam, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam, Ishvara Paramakrishna, Satchidananda Vigraha, Anadi Adi Govinda, Sarva Karana Karanam. In Brahma Samhita, the first verse of the fifth chapter is mentioned. There are many Ishvara, but Ishvara Paramakrishna. Of all those Ishvaras, Ishvara is Krishna. Right? Anadi Adi Govinda. He is independent, so Chanda. No one is his origin, but he is the originator of everyone. Right? All these incarnations are his origins. His incarnations, past incarnations are also, the Lord is the originator. Etacham Sakala Pumsham Krishna to Bhagwan Swayam. Right? So the fools, the Mudas, they deride him. Avajananti Ma Muda. Right? In Bhagavad Gita says they are Mudas. They deride him. They think him as one of them. Right? They think him as one of them. when Bhagavad Gita is mentioned, Nitya Nityanam Chaitana Chaitanam. Natveham Jatu Nasam Natve Neme Janadipaha. Right? Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor any of these kings. Right? Nitya Nityanam Chaitana Chaitanam is from Sita Sutara Upanishad. Right? Nitya Nityanam. Right? So he is the Supreme Lord, is filled with the six opulences: wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. And Kardama Muni is fully knowledgeable of the Lord's potency. And though he has appeared as his son, since Lord Vishnu had previously already intimated that, because of your austerities, and please, I will appear as your son. Right? I will appear as your son. So when the Lord appears as his son, he's almost aware of it, and he does not fall into when material life we are so bound, where a sun appears, and we get so attached to the sun, right? Now I have to give him the proper education, raise him up, get him married. After he's married, then we think about the grandsons, the granddaughters, and we never come out of that cycle. The samsara chakra, we never come out of that. Kapila Muni, though he's Kadamuni, rather, though this Kapila Muni has the Lord himself has taken birth, is getting ready for renunciation, right? So that he can dedicate his full time in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, right? Following the Vedic injunctions that at a certain age one should live. Right? At a certain age one should live, not be bound to these ashramas. And now he is in the mood of servitorship. So he does not want to get into this another point which is made. In that mood of servitorship, he is so satisfied. Now we have these five mellows: Santa, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. But he's so fixed in the mood of servitorship that he does not want to get in the mood of Vatsalya and Sakhya. As a son, otherwise he will get attached to the son in the mode of Vatsalya, though the Lord himself has appeared in his house. Right? And so voluntarily he takes renunciation, not that now he will start practicing devotional service and Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, automatically renunciation will come. No, he takes, because of his preparations beforehand as a brahmachari, as a sage, he is ready for renunciation. Most of the time, most of us we are bound by the spell of material nature, where for us renunciation does not come. Right? But devotional service brings a renunciation. Right? So that's why he starts preparing for renunciation, so that he can remember the Lord continuously, satatam. and serve him in devotional service. Already. Are there any questions or discussions on this? We have a few minutes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glory to
Yes,
Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the class, Prabhu. My question is that suppose we get to go back to Godhead, then at that time our relation with Krishna is revealed, whatever it be.
Mm-hmm.
And once you go there, it said you never come back.
Mm-hmm.
So, Prabhu, whilst we are there, is that relation, so let's say you're in Dasya Ras or Sakya Ras, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
is that relation permanent, or can the jiva then change it also if he desires?
Well, they're satisfied in the relationship in which they are in, as what we see in Gautam Muni's situation. But your question, can they progress from that relationship to a higher relationships? Yeah, they can. But in most of the cases, they're completely satisfied, just like we hear in Brihad Bhagavatamrita, when Narad Muni comes to Hanumanji in Kim Purusha Loka, and no, means, then after that, Hanumanji guides Narad Muni to go to the Yadavas, right? No, to the Pandavas. Hanumanji was completely satisfied in his mood of Dashya. Though he knew that there are higher mallows, he was satisfied in that particular mood of Dashya. Right. So, in that spiritual realm, when we go, they're satisfied in that particular mood. Now, one is a subset of the other. Like a Sakya has Santa and Dasya, a Vatsalya has Santa, Dasya, Sakya, and a Madhurya has the other four mallows. Right. So we see at times, even the topmost platform, Srimati Radharani is involved in serving the Supreme Lord in the mood of Dasya. Right? Because those others are also present, other mallows.
Mm.
But no, more or less they're satisfied otherwise in that mood. And here, we see that the Lord himself has taken birth. He would be, completely then in the mood of Vatsalya. But he prepares for renunciation so that he can continuously serve the Supreme Lord.
Mm.
Is that okay?
Yeah, Prabhu. Thanks. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So it's also 7 o'clock. Any further questions? Nityam Bhagavata Sevya. Or can send some message to me. We can discuss further. I'd like to thank everyone
Hare Krishna,
and
Hare
wish
Krishna.
them a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead, and pray to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Ram, Hare Hare.
Shri Narsingho, Jai
Jai
Narsingho, Jai Jai
Narsingha,
Narsingho, Praladesha, Jaya
Jaya
Padma, Mukha
Padma,
Padma
Mukha Padma
Bhingam,
Bhringam.
Ugraveeram
Veeram
Mahavishnu,
Mahavishnu,
Jagantam
Jagantam
Sarvatomukham,
Sarvatomukham.
Narsingam Bhishणam
Narsingha
Vajram
Bhishana
Nityam
Bhadram
Nityam
Nityam Nityam
Namamyam.
Namamyam.
Narsingh Bhagwan ki Jai, Prahlad
Jai,
Maharaj ki Jai.
Jai.
Let's offer our humble obeisances to all the Sanghi Vaishnavas.
Vanchakalpatari has the kripa sindhubhevacha.
Patitanam
Tanam
pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo namo
Vaishnavebhyo
namah.
namo namo.
वैष्णवृंद की जय
Jai.
राज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय
Jai.
शिला प्रभुपाद की जय
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे
Hari Hari. Thank you, Madhupati
Thank
Prabhu.
you,
Thank you,
everybody.
everyone.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Prabhuji.